eating fat can make you fat because most of the foods that we're eating right now that have fat in them aren't foods at all. So eating fat facsimiles is a real problem. So natural fats don't make you fat, particularly if you're not eating them in combination with a lot of sugary and starchy food that would stimulate insulin. So what we need to do is eat the normal balance that we've had before, and we need to add some fat back into our diet, because when we look over historically, when the American Medical Association and the USDA, when these scientists and things, researchers got together and they recommended that we decrease the amount of fat in our diet to prevent heart disease. We didn't prevent heart disease, and we got overweight and obese. And the reason why is that the body is going to find its fuel some way. And so fat is an interesting food because it can be used as fuel and it can be used as building blocks. So what happened is we started over-fueling on fat fuel and under-fueling on fat building blocks, because fat building blocks are in real food. They're not in fake food. So we are eating a lot of fatty food, and we are making fake fats. So real fat would be butter and coconut oil. These real fats, they're more solid at room temperature. And we wanted to use those more solid at room temperature fats, so we hydrogenated oils by chemically altering them so they solidified, like waving a magic wand over them. And these were these trans fats. So we twisted the nature of the fat, and we said this was good because it was a natural vegetable oil, not a fat. But we didn't look at how it reacted in our body. We looked at how it reacted in a laboratory. And we thought, since it shouldn't make heart disease, it wouldn't make heart disease. But it did. And then we had all these trans fats floating around, which are basically oils, not fats. Oil is a kind of fat, a liquid fat, that was chemically altered to be solid. And that was put into many of our foods, and especially all the processed food. So the fats in processed food are making us fat, but the fats that we were eating before, natural fats found in nature, which would be the vegetable sources would be coconut oil, nut oils, olive oil, animal products like egg yolks, full-fat dairy, the fat that's on the meat naturally, lard. Many of these fats that people have eaten traditionally, they don't make you fat. And they make you satisfied, so you don't eat so much. If you keep eating, if you keep over-fueling by eating too much, then you're going to put on weight. You're going to gain weight. Why would you do that? Because you're not satisfied. You're undernourished. So your weight regulation mechanism, which we're all born with to balance our weight, 10 millions and millions of calories over a whole lifetime, it's confused, it's broken. We are manipulating it. It will take care of itself. It will give you the appropriate amount of hunger and the appropriate amount of temptation, but you have to eat real food, because this is all evolutionary. It's gone on for millions of years. And we believe we can manufacture food and make our brain educated to learn this in a couple generations. It's just not happening. We need to look at the results of this experiment, and they're disastrous. We need to chuck it. And we don't need to go and research a better way to give us fake food. We need to look back, at least for a little while, and go back to the time when it was safe. You know, there's a thing on your computer, which is you go back to safe start. When you start to have all kinds of problems, well, then you go back in time to when you last knew that it worked. And I think that we need to do a little bit more of that while we're figuring things out, instead of trying to figure out new chemicals, new diets, new fitness programs to make us lose weight, because we don't need to lose weight. We need to use weight, but first we need to stop accumulating. That's what the problem is. And we need to go back to a time in history when we were not accumulating, which was for millions of years, by the way. So we weren't really over accumulating until just recently. So it's not like it's a big mystery.